Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to a very special game that I prepared for you today. I saw this game recently on the official TCEC season 23 bonus competition. It's Bagatur versus the top engine Dragon, and the cool part about this game is that we'll see finally the beautiful Polerio defense of the Italian game. And I think the Polerio defense is must-know theory. You have to be really familiar with this openings line, with the tricks in the opening, because I think if you are facing the Italian opening from black's perspective, you see many times these attacks, these ideas for white. But the cool part about I think about the Polerio defense is that it's a double-edged opening. Many games are also won by black in this opening, so it's really I think something worth to study, especially when the top engines like the Dragon, Lila Zero, or maybe Stockfish are playing this beautiful opening. So let's see now what happens. So we have here Bagatur. It's a low-rated engine against the top engine Dragon in the two knights defense of the Italian game in the so-called Polerio defense. So e4 was played by Bagatur. We have e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4. We have now the Italian game. So you can play here the move bishop to c5, and probably my brother-in-law grandmaster would say that now the best move is of course the Evans gambit with the move b4. So that's why probably here the Dragon engine was scared about the Evans gambit and played now the so-called two knights defense of the Italian game, knight to f6. And okay, many things can be played. You can go normally here with the move d3, knight to c3. You can play normal development, but we'll see now the sharpest line here. We'll see now the beautiful knight attack with the move knight to g5. That's the downside about the two knights defense of the Italian game, that you have actually here a weakness on f7. And now the next couple of moves are really forced, because you have to play now d5 in order to defend yourself. And here the problem after move e takes d5 is that if you play knight takes d5, you will probably face the fried liver attack, and this is something that I would not recommend to you. Here from this point on, I think white has a much better position, because you're facing this monstrous tactical shot. I have covered many games so far in the fried liver attack, and if you want to study them, you can also check it out. We will not dive in so much into this particular line, because it's so sharp, it's so tactical. You have to create really a special series about the fried liver attack. But so far, let's see: knight to f7, king to f7, then queen to f3, and the king gets decoyed of course towards the center, knight to c3. So you see now white is simply continuing the pressure. So the evaluation, the top engine Stockfish 15 gives here already an evaluation of +1 for white, although white is down a piece. So as I said, this has to be really a special story. Will not do so much now this opening line. So okay, after move e takes d5, now we'll see now the Polerio defense with the move knight to a5. And this is what you have to do, I think, in this position. You have to play this beautiful gambit line. Here from black's perspective, you're giving up a pawn, but you're getting then a beautiful piece activity. And that's, I think, the beauty about this opening, because it's double-edged. Black is sacrificing a pawn. Not so many times you'll see an opening that black is giving up a pawn in an early stage of the game. Many times white is playing sort of a gambit or something, but now with the move knight to a5, black is actually taking over. Not maybe when it comes to evaluation, but when it comes to the feeling who is actually attacking here, actually black will be now on the attacking side. So knight to a5, bishop to b5, c6, d takes c6, and now b takes c6. The bishop has to retreat. You have now many choices: bishop to e2, bishop to d3, and queen to f3 is also an opportunity. Now the main line that is played now many times in top grandmaster level is the move bishop to d3. I've seen now very often this move. It is protecting a little bit here the e4 square. Is not allowing maybe black to push here this the pawn to e4. So now we have knight to d5, and this is now an interesting line, because now the knight is trying here to come to the square f4. We have now knight to e4. You can also play knight to f3, or you can also play of course h4, supporting now your knight on g5. But okay, the knight is hanging. In the continuation, we had here knight to e4 by Bagatur, and now knight to f4, attacking simply the bishop here on d3. Here the bishop retreated to f1. This is not a mistake or something. This position has been also played many times in grandmaster levels. Bishop to f1 is coming in now. What black is trying, white is trying to do is of course to play the move g3, kick away the bishop, maybe play bishop to g2 afterwards, kingside castling, and then simply play normal development and bite this up a whole pawn. That's, I think, something that we should not forget in this position. If white simplifies the game enough, then white should be much better, and white should be probably winning. So after move bishop to f1, so you see now the dragging engine is not allowing here now Bagatur to breathe, play simply attacking chess. You have to react now. You have to understand that white is here a lack of development. Look at this, how many pieces are on the starting square. So when it comes to development, black is obviously much better with both of these knights out, and already with this opportunity to play the move f5. So we have now knight from e to c3, we have bishop to c5. Now the dragging engine is targeting here the beautiful f2 square. We have now g3, and now the cool part is that the dragging engine didn't retreat. Many of us, I think, would play knight to e6, knight to e6, maybe knight to g6, would simply retreat. But that's the beauty about attacking chess. Whenever you get attacked, that's a rule that you have to somehow get in your head. Whenever you get attacked, your first feeling should be really in chess how to create a counterattack. If you are too passive in your head, if you're just thinking about passive moves, I guarantee you'll not be successful in chess. So that's why after move g3, here the Komodo dragging engine played bishop queen to d4, aiming up here towards the f2 square, is now threatening a beautiful checkmate. So after move queen to f3, again the dragging engine didn't slow down, I think, here the pace of the game. Played now the move knight to e6, but the problem is now still queen to f5 or some ideas like this are not working, because you will then face a beautiful tactical shot knight to f4. The knight gets back, and now there's no good way for the queen to get back into the defense. The queen is hanging. You just can prolong the game, maybe sacrificing the queen for a pawn, but here this is not working. Even if you try here something like g takes f4, queen takes f2, and now we simply take out the queen, bishop to g4, and the game should be over here for white. So as I said, this is really brilliant how the dragging engine included now all of the pieces into the attack. We have now the move a3, trying some kind of a fork here with the move b4, and again the dragging engine didn't retreat, played simply normal attacking moves. e4, we have queen to g2. Look at this, the queen is now really on a weird square. The queen gets cornered here on such a messed up square. The queen cannot escape. Even if you try queen to h3, some ideas of knight to f4, maybe again queen to f2 are working, so you don't have time to do this kind of stuff. Now the queen is basically out of game. Really stunning ideas already in the opening stage. So we have now kingside castling, b4. It doesn't matter, because here the dragging engine played now beautiful move f4, and the problem is now if you try g takes f4 to take out here this pawn, we have now two choices. You can take out, of course, one of these minor pieces, but you can also play g takes f4. Then you get this one, knight to f4, queen to g3 has to be played, but now look at this, knight to h3 is winning the game. The problem is now for bishop to h3, you get bishop to h3, and now again you cannot deflect your queen from the defense of the f2 square. You could maybe try something like, I don't know, b takes c5, but now look at this, rook to f3 is coming into the game, queen to g2, knight to f2, which just includes more pieces into the game, g6. We're simply not allowing here some kind of a tactic around the square, g7, and now in the near future I think bishop to h3 should win the game. So that was our analysis after g takes f4. It hasn't been played in the game. Here the Bagatur engine simply took out now this annoying bishop on c5, so actually here the dragging engine sacrificed the piece in an early stage of the game. Really wild stuff, but now the fun starts. So here f3, the queen gets more and more cornered. The queen is getting worse and worse. Here the dragging engine sacrificed the piece now, but the queen gets cornered now to the square g1 even, and now the queen is really out of game, because if you try queen to h3, then of course you get this one, knight to f4, you get a double sort of attack against the queen, queen to h4, and now you have even this one, knight to g2 is a possibility. We have a fork, a beautiful fork here against the queen, against the king. You have to take now bishop to g2, but now after f takes g2, the rook is hanging. If you place, of course, your rook here to g1, then you get queen to f2, and now it's a simple checkmate here with queen to f1. Now we got a new promotion, and it's simply game over. So as I said, the really weird position of the queen. The queen gets cornered here to g1, and now here the dragon engine continues. Simply the pressure plays now knight to c5. So we have now here the move rook to a2, and the problem I think in this position is actually a huge tactical shot that's possible through the whole game now for black. For instance, if you try I don't know, h4 g4 or something, the main tactical goal here for black is to play the move knight to d3. This is now the move that I think that bothers now white in the continuation of the game. After something like c takes d3, e takes d3, we get this e file open, and now also the threat is to play then afterwards bishop to e6 and then bishop to b3. For instance, if the king escaped here to d1, then we could of course include the bishop here into the attack on b3. Rook to e8 is going to happen for sure, so it's I think completely lost game here for white. So after move rook to a2 was played by the Bagatur engine. The Bagatur engine is trying now to compete somehow, maybe to include new defenders into the game to get maybe this rook on b2. So that's why here the dragon engine stopped this idea. We have rook to b8, and now Bagatur played a4, tries of course somehow maybe to get the bishop into the game and at least get rid of this annoying knight to c5, because as we said, the main tactical goal was to move knight to d3. So here a4 has been played, but let's see what happens if, for instance, the Bagatur engine would have competed here with the move rook to b2. I was really curious what is going to happen after move rook to b2. Then rook takes b2. We have a bishop to b2. Again, knight to d3 is working. You have to take c takes d3. We have e takes d3, and now I don't know. Maybe you can play again the move g4. As we said, rook to e8. You have to step back, and now with bishop to e6, here bishop to b3. I'm not seeing good ways how, as I said, white should defend this position. Maybe you can include the queen somehow into defense, bishop to b3, and now this is a beautiful checkmate. Rook to e1. Now you have to bring the knight in between, but now with the move rook to d1, the game is over. So as I said, that's why here in this position rook to b2 has not been played. Here a4 Bagatur was Bagatur's choice, but now again bishop to e6, again with the same motif to get somehow some kind of a idea to get rid of this pawn. This pawn on c2 is actually the main defensive piece of white, which is really incredible. Here in the continuation we have rook to a3 played by Bagatur, and now knight to c4. Now this move is again a new preparation. Now what the dragon engine is trying to do is to get this knight on e5 and again play knight to d3, and then again with this other knight to d3. So we would have two knights that would aim against this weak square on d3 and then open again the e file and include now more attackers into the game. So we have now bishop to c4. If you try here rook to a1 to escape here, then again you see knight to d3 again with the same tactical shot. So you should not forget about this idea, because it will happen now many times in the continuation of the game. So here in the continuation, that's why bishop to c4 has been played by Bagatur, getting rid of a very important attacker. We have bishop to c4, and now rook to a1 here played by Bagatur. So you see the Bagatur engine played a couple of times, so the rook doesn't have now good opportunities to play with the piece. And now comes a very cool move here by the dragon engine. Here dragon played the rook to d8, and there is now a certain idea what the dragon engine is trying to do. We have here knight to a3 attacking the bishop, but now comes bishop to e2. And the cool part is that actually here the dragon engine is preparing a really nice tactical shot. So I'll play just a bad move now for white. Maybe you can spot now the best move for black. So take your time and try to see now a beautiful tactical shot. This position has not been played now, but let's see what would happen if, for instance, you try g4 and maybe you're trying queen to g3 to somehow to get the queen into the game. So okay, so after move bishop to e2, the cool tactic that here with the move rook to d8 dragon prepared is of course this beautiful queen sacrifice. Queen to c3 comes with a beautiful attack against the rook. Now you can have to play this one and you see now rook to d1 leads into a beautiful checkmate. So that's actually the beautiful idea about this move, bishop to e2, and basically white needs now to take out the bishop on e2, but now of course the rook is hanging on a1. Really stunning tactics here by the Dragon Engine. Queen to a1, we have queen to f1. Here Bagatur is desperately trying to get some pieces into the game, but now comes this actual tactical shot that was present through the whole game. We have knight to d3, c takes d3, we have e takes d3. Again, the e file gets opened. We have a perfect domination here on this open file. We have queen to h3 by Bagatur, but nothing special, because after d takes e2, the queen comes here on e6. But now after king to h8, we have queen to c4. So it seems so that Bagatur defended here the position. Maybe you can pause the video again and try to see now the best continuation here for black. Try to see now the winning tactic. Take your time, test your might in chess. So let's see now, can you spot the winning tactic? Okay, the beautiful move that of course Dragon saw was rook to b3, and if the queen takes, of course, then the queen gets deflected from the defense of the bishop. So that's why you see also the knight is attacked. So there's not a good way anymore to defend its position. This bishop is a little bit overloaded, so that's why here the Bagatur engine played now knight to b5, escape with the knight. But now in this position rook to b1 was played. Even if you retreat now here to again with the move knight to a3, then rook to c1, queen to c1, queen to c1 is simply winning the game. So that's why here d4, it was a desperate move here by the Bagatur engine. But now here the Dragon engine playing queen to b2, we have knight to a7, rook to c1, queen to c1, and after queen to c1 the game was over. So a really great tactical game, I think, by the Dragon engine. I really loved this opening because I think it is something that will happen to you if you're playing, of course, the Italian game from black's perspective. So let's go back. After e takes d5, now the Polerio defense, knight to a5, bishop to b5, c6, d takes c6, b takes c6. Now after move bishop to d3, knight to d5, knight to f4, maybe then h6, f5. As we said, we're simply continuing the pressure. We have here a dominant position on the king side, although you're down a pawn, but for an attacking player, I think this is really a perfect opening. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas of the Italian game of the Polerio defense. If you want to see more about the Italian game, you can also check out my playlist. Here's the link of some other studies that we have covered so far. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.